If you want to be healthier, yet you just don't know what to do, all these shows telling you this and that, but nothing seems to work. Well, listen close. Golden State Media Concepts has got something great for you. The Health and Wellness Podcast dedicated to workout trends, healthy eating habits, diet, and everything about healthy living. Join us in our banters as we help you not just live life to the fullest, but live it to the healthiest.
Hey guys, and welcome to GSMC Health and Wellness Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I'm your host, Cynthia. Happy Monday, everyone. I hope you all are having a great day and are, just positive vibes over here, okay? I had an amazing weekend. I took a day trip with my family to Lake Tahoe, and I swear, everything and anything that can go wrong did. So it's about a 2-hour drive from Sacramento. And on this day, we decided to bring our dog Louie with us. And Louie doesn't travel a lot, okay? He's in the house majority of the day. We do have a backyard. He goes in the backyard. We take him on walks. Although the air quality has been pretty bad here. So he hasn't been on walks for a couple of weeks because it's been so bad, and that's not healthy to walk your pet with, terrible air quality like that. And Louie does really well with other people. Like, he loves people. He's a very social dog. He loves to be pet, loved on. He doesn't bite, anything like that. However, he is very anxious and gets overly excited, and he doesn't do very well with other dogs. He gets so anxious. He starts jumping a lot and barking but crying at the same time. It's crazy. And so we thought, you know what? Let's just try. Let's just see. We want to go to Tahoe. We didn't have anyone to dog sit him, so we couldn't just leave him home all day. And so we decided to take him with us. And first problem is we left Sacramento way too late for my liking, at least. We didn't leave Sacramento till almost 12:30, which is very late. That's the time we should already be there. That's the time I should already be laying out on the beach, you feel me? And my family thinks otherwise. Every time we do these trips, we go to the lake, the river, something, we always have plans, we're going to leave at 9 a.m. We don't leave till literally 3 hours later, a typical Mexican time, right? And that's exactly what happened. So I was a little bit crabby in the beginning of the day because I was like, dude, I want to leave. I'm a very punctual person, and I like to get to my destination on time. And I wanted to take advantage of the sun, and, my family's more cool, laid back. We'll get there when we get there. Let's just enjoy the ride. So we didn't get, and might I mention, we also had to look up places that allowed dogs and were dog-friendly beaches. So we pull up to supposedly this dog-friendly beach that Google said was okay for us to bring Louie. And of course we get there and it's not dog-friendly. We are allowed to walk our dog on the sidewalk, but we're not allowed to bring him onto the beach. And we're like, okay, that defeats the whole purpose. And by this time, it was already 3 p.m., so I was highly irritated. And what made it worse, this beach was jam-packed, side to side. Literally, there was no place for us to sit down and relax. And we had a kayak with us, and there was just no way. We were not going to be able to relax. It was not going to be enjoyable. There was a whole bunch of people partying, not social distancing. It was just not our vibe. So we were trying to search for another dog-friendly beach close by. And we find the second beach. So we drive there another 10 minutes. Of course, this place, oh, it's only for residents only. And we're like, oh my God, why is that not stated online? You feel me? So it was so irritated. We drive to this beach, residents only. And then the person working that lot, she's like, oh, try this place, this other beach. So we get to that beach, which is like 20 minutes going the opposite way. We get to this third beach and it starts pouring rain. When I tell you I was upset, cue Drake, I'm upset, because that was me. I was so pissed. I was like, literally, this is not the day. Like, it is not meant to be. We are not meant to be out on the beach with our dog. It was raining. By this time, it was already like 4:30. And we didn't have service on our phones, so we couldn't actively search for beaches, you know, dog-friendly beaches, because our stupid phones weren't working and we're out of service. And finally, my sister was able to connect her phone to Wi-Fi, and she found this beach, and we were like, this is it, y'all. Like, this is the last stop. It was already almost 5 p.m. And oh my God, this beach was perfect. Finally perfect. We get there. It was kind of chilly already. I'm not going to lie. I was still pretty crabby because I'm like, what the heck? It's like almost 5 p.m. and we're barely getting here. I felt like I was driving from Sacramento to LA, you know, that 6-hour drive. So I was highly irritated. And we get there and it was perfect. Barely anybody on the beach. There was like us and a couple other families, and they were not obnoxious at all. They were minding their business. People were kayaking, paddleboarding, just so peaceful. The beach was so clean. Our dog was having such a blast. Like, it was perfect. Literally the only complaint of mine is that I wish we would have gotten there earlier, but you know, it is what it is, and we had to make do of our situation. So other than that, it was a great weekend, and I know you guys are tired of hearing my Tahoe story, but I had to share with you guys what I did. So, let's get down to business. As promised from last week's episode, we dove into the conversation of clean beauty, and we discovered some really disturbing facts about a lot of harsh chemicals and ingredients that are still being used in our personal care products, you know, to this day, and we put it on our bodies and on our faces every day. And out of the 82,000 ingredients that are being used in our personal care products, like shampoo, conditioner, lotions, all of that stuff, 14,000 of them are harsh and are still being used. 14,000 different ingredients. So I promise you guys that we're going to continue on with that conversation because there's just so much more to unpack. I mean, I can really talk about clean beauty all day. Again, I am not an esthetician. I am not the queen of, you know, beauty, but I just want to share with you guys this information I have discovered and just share with you guys my personal experiences with, you know, chemically harsh based products versus more natural based products. So first and foremost, we're going to talk about how to build a clean skincare routine that actually works. As I mentioned in the previous episode, that's my biggest concern when it comes to moving from shifting to a more plant-based or natural skincare routine. Is my biggest concern is that are the products actually going to work? You know, I'm actually still using this African black cleanser, and it's really natural. You know, it has like only 3 ingredients, all natural, but I don't really feel or see a difference in my skin. So that's my biggest concern with some beauty care, personal care products, is that the natural care isn't that effective. So we're going to be here to unpack all that and explaining how to build, you know, a clean skincare routine that actually works, you know. And these are all expert approved products. So no need to worry, y'all. I got you. So first, take a minute to think about your skin as if it were your stomach, okay? Imagine eating a diet full of processed foods containing preservatives, stabilizers, artificial sweeteners, and filler ingredients like high fructose corn syrup. Not only would you miss out on all the nutrients and antioxidants needed to maintain optimal health, but you would damage your gut by killing the positive bacteria that help absorb nutrients when you do decide to eat a vegetable. And it's the same thing on the skin. If you're using conventional beauty products with a ton of preservatives, fragrances, and stabilizers, you're going to damage the skin's microflora, which will impair your skin function and have the worst impact for skin quality and appearance. So you guys, we're going to come to a very brief break right now. And when we come back, more on clean beauty.
Are you looking to learn more about the latest trends from the fitness world? Are you confused by all of the different trends that are out there? The GSMC Fitness Podcast is the place for you. The GSMC Fitness Podcast is the place to come for people of all skill and interest levels. Join us as we explore the latest trends in the fitness world. Does that new exercise really work? Should I try yoga? Whatever your question, chances are good you'll find an answer on the GSMC Fitness Podcast.
What's up, you guys, and welcome back to GSMC Health and Wellness Podcast. So let's continue on with the conversation of how to build a clean skincare routine that works for you. So holistic esthetician Christina Holy, she says that for her, clean skincare means using nutrient-dense ingredients while avoiding damaging chemicals to support and nourish the skin's bacteria for effective results. Similar to your diet, right? That's the same thing for your skin, as we just mentioned. She adds that buying local is important, which I did not know this actually. The longer the shelf life of a product and the farther it traveled, the more additives and preservatives you'll find in the ingredient list. And the biggest issue, the long-term health implications of these added compounds can be more than skin deep. Does not sound good. Again, of the 82,000 ingredients used in personal care products, 1 in 7 have been found to be industrial chemicals that are well-established carcinogens, pesticides, and hormone disruptors. Your favorite skincare products could contain anything from plasticizers, which are chemicals used to keep concrete soft, to degreasers used to get grime off auto parts, you guys, to surfactants used in paint and inks. And we're putting all of this crap on our skin. Although these ingredients are considered safe by the FDA for acute exposure, because of the low quantities used in beauty products, there is a lack of studies looking at chronic exposure. If we know these chemicals are dangerous at high exposures, we can't assume that just because levels are low, that they're safe when used over a prolonged period of time. Like if we're using the same lotion that contains these pesticides and stabilizers and filler ingredients in little amounts, okay, but every day for 10 years, it can for sure have some damaging chronic effects. And Dr. Sarah Ballantyne explains this, that we need actual data to prove that, and that doesn't exist yet. However, when it comes to endocrine disruption, the discussion around acute and chronic exposure to skincare ingredients is more complicated. Endocrine disruption isn't really dose dependent, explains John Warner, who's the president of Warner Bobick Institute for Green Chemistry. It's operating at the hormone level. So you really don't a whole lot of chemicals in order for it to disrupt your hormones. And everyone reacts differently. An old 56-year-old guy, like me, he says, probably has a very different response than a pregnant woman in her 15th week of pregnancy. Both Dr. Ballantine and Warner are frustrated at the lack of information regarding endocrine disruption caused by skincare products, and both believe we need a ground-up solution for looking at toxicology in the beauty industry. No university requires a chemist to have any training in what makes molecules toxic, what makes molecules harmful. Before someone gets a degree in chemistry, a university should require them to learn something about predicting the negative impact of what they're inventing. The reason there's no answer to this question is because chemists, the only people who understand molecule structure, aren't part of the discussion. And that's crazy. How could they not invent dangerous stuff if they have no clue how not to? The good news is that there are dozens of beauty brands leading the charge with enlightened chemists crafting effective products made from 100% clean and safe ingredients for any exposure. But as you look to overhaul your bathroom cabinet, Warner has one final piece of advice. Don't panic or feel overwhelmed. We don't want to be putting our hands up over our heads, running in circles screaming, because the stress of panic is probably more toxic than the exposure of the molecules. With that in mind, we have found, tested, and vetted the best clean skincare brands out there, so you don't have to spiral into a 3-hour Google search yourself. When used properly, these natural alternatives are some of the best wrinkle fighters and collagen boosters on the market. For younger, clearer, smoother skin, these are the skincare brands that Bazaar.com editors stand behind. So are we ready, you guys? Are we ready to get into this clean beauty? Because I am. But first, we need to discuss why you need natural toothpaste and deodorant. I know I'm switching gears here a little bit, but this is a part of clean beauty too. It's not just, skincare. It's also body care. And we're going to be hitting the mark about the truth about aluminum and the charcoal trend. So first and foremost, let's get one fact out of the way. All the science to date suggests that there is no definitive link between aluminum-based antiperspirant use and breast cancer. Studies have shown that underarm skin actually absorbs very little aluminum, only about 0.01%. But what about when you shave your armpits, then apply a swipe of antiperspirant? The absorption rate of aluminum goes up to 0.06% on pre-damaged skin, and a 2017 retrospective study showed an earlier age of disease onset in breast cancer patients that had used aluminum-containing antiperspirants combined with underarm shaving. So, the National Cancer Institute and leading scientists have called for large-scale epidemiological studies of the relationship between aluminum-based antiperspirants and the risk of breast cancer. But so far, no conclusive evidence has been found to label antiperspirants toxic. Our suggestion? Play it semi-safe. Switch to a natural deodorant on the days you shave, then use your aluminum-based antiperspirant on the days you don't. So, here are 5 natural deodorants formulas our editors trust. And they're the best organic and natural deodorants. And the first one is from the brand Follain, Follain. You can get it at follain.com. And it is a charcoal deodorant. And it has charcoal, tea tree oil, and cornstarch. And they work together to wick away moisture and reduce odor-causing bacteria. The formula is also free from baking soda. And this deodorant is priced at $14. Next, we have from Violet Grey, Agent Nature, and it is the Holistic No. 3 deodorant. And this formula does contain baking soda, but it's also one of the choicest natural deodorants out there. The ingredient list reads more like a grocery list, okay? It has coconut oil, baking soda, avocado, and sunflower butters, honey, and lavender and eucalyptus essential oils. I like to hear that, right? I want my body care, personal care to sound like a grocery list. And this specific natural deodorant is priced at $21. Next, also from violetgray.com, we have the Corpus Natural Deodorant. And this is a water-based formula and makes you feel fancier every time you swipe it on. People love the bergamot, pink lemon, orange blossom, and cardamom scent. It's more like a luxury fragrance than a classic deodorant scent. So this one is a little bit pricier, and it is sitting at $24 even. Next natural deodorant we have here on the list is also from Folane.com, like the very first natural deodorant I mentioned. Also from Folane.com, and it is the Visionary Type A deodorant. From the packaging to the sweat-activated technology, this deodorant is a game changer. The baking soda-based formula continues to keep you dry and stink-free for hours and hours, so you always smell like you just applied it. And then lastly, also from Folane.com, it is the AER deodorant Vapor. And this formula is 70% organic and feels powdery on skin, not wet or slick. That's due to the arrowroot powder and baking soda, which keeps you super dry if sweat is your main issue. That seems like the one I need because that's my biggest issue with my underarms. I don't have BO, which is great, no bad odor, but I do sweat a lot, like a lot. So anything that's going to keep me super dry underneath there, I'm a fan of. And this one's priced at $12.50. Not bad at all. These are all pretty budget friendly, so I'm liking that. So let's talk about charcoal toothpaste and how it might actually cause tooth decay. Scary stuff because I literally used to use charcoal toothpaste like all day, every day. Charcoal is the CBD of the oral care market, and it's everywhere and in everything. Kendall Jenner is even hawking a charcoal-based tooth brand called Moon on her Instagram. Fans of charcoal-infused toothpaste claim it whitens teeth and freshens breath better than a dollop of any other toothpaste on drugstore shelves. But a new study calls into question the supposed health benefits. A review in the British Dental Journal from earlier this year found that charcoal provides little protection against tooth decay, and there is limited scientific evidence to support the other health claims. In fact, adding powdered charcoal to toothpaste can actually make things worse. When used too often in people with fillings, it can get into them and become difficult to get out, says Dr. Joseph Greenwald Cohen, who is the co-author of the study from the University of Manchester Dental School. Charcoal particles can also get caught up in the gums and irritate them. Charcoal is also inherently abrasive, which could cause damage to your enamel over time. The review also pointed out that many charcoal-infused and natural toothpaste are formulated without fluoride, which dentists strongly recommend for preventing tooth decay. Some studies have suggested a topical application of fluoride may be ultimately more effective than ingesting it through drinking water. However, if you live in an area with fluoride in your drinking water and sit in a dentist's chair once or twice a year, you'd likely be fine brushing with a non-fluoridated natural toothpaste. So the bottom line, you guys, when it comes to charcoal in your toothpaste, use charcoal toothpaste if you absolutely love having your mouth turn a stunning shade of black, but don't expect it to magically cure dental issues in the absence of proper oral hygiene. I wish someone would have told me this back in 2015. So you guys, we're going to cut into a very brief break right now. And when we come back, more on clean beauty.
Tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. Hey! The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch. Whatever it may be. Visit us at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
What's up, you guys, and welcome back to GSMC Health and Wellness Podcast. So we're now going to be diving into the best organic and natural candles. So we're going to get into everything you need to know about non-toxic candles before you light your next match. Ta-dam. You see what I did there, y'all? I cracked myself up. Anyway, so yeah, just as you can have toxic, personal care products like skincare and body care, you can also have toxic candles sitting at home. And I didn't even think about this. When you light it, you're inhaling those toxic fumes. What? Like, terrible. Though you wouldn't bat an eyelash at them now, clean candles are a relatively new trend. Before the Consumer Product Safety Commission banned the use of lead in candle wicks back in 2003, the poisonous ingredient ensured they'd stand up straight. Yes, really. You'd light it and then you'd immediately be breathing in lead emissions, which would cause elevated levels of lead in the bloodstream. Okay. Moreover, some candle brands are still refined paraffin, a petroleum-based wax that may release carcinogenic soot when burned, and synthetic fragrance, which can emit potentially dangerous VOCs. So what should you look for in a clean candle? Because I know all of us, we love our Bath and Body Works scents, but those I don't think are the cleanest. This is why many are turning to clean candles when it's time to cozy up for the evening. For those shopping around, holistic esthetician Christina Foley recommends looking for candles made from vegetable wax like soy, beeswax, or non-GMO corn. If it doesn't list a plant or vegetable wax, you should assume that it's a paraffin wax, she explains, adding that the wick should always be cotton and preferably organic. If you see a wick that's coated in a heavy coating, inquire as to what the coating is. That's what Christina Foley says, noting that it could be coated in paraffin. As a customer, you have a right to ask questions. You just need to know what questions to ask. And, I'm about to list you guys 7 cleaner candles that are still ultra chic. Some of them are bougie, some of them are a little more budget friendly, so I got everybody. First one we're going to get to, it is from a brand called Credo Beauty, from credobeauty.com, and it is the Slightly Bitter Candle Heretic. This is a little bougie, okay? She's priced at $85, yes. It's the grapefruit and lemon fragrance might be bitter, but it'll leave you feeling sweet. Better yet, it features a soy wax and transparent information about what goes into its scent. This next candle you can find at Nordstrom.com, and it is from the company PF Candle Company, and it is the Lavender Terra Candle. You'll enjoy this plant-derived lavender fragrance as it burns. Then, once it's empty, you can see the terracotta tumbler for a succulent or two. We love it. We love sustainable products. And this one's priced at $30. Still a little bit expensive, but not as bougie as the first one. Next, we have from the brand Boy Smells, and it is the LES scented candle, which you can find at Nordstrom.com. And each Boy Smells candle is made from a coconut and beeswax blend as its base. And this one is priced at $32. Next, we have from the brand Goop, and it is the Scented Candle Edition 01 Church. Gwyneth Paltrow's Edition 01 Goop candle is made from soybean wax, essential oils, and unbleached cotton wicks. And this one's bougie. She's priced at $72. Number 5, we have from the brand UMA, and it is the Pure Calm Wellness Candle. And this aromatherapy inspired candle helps you mellow out. It's made with soy wax and essential oils of lavender, rose, and sandalwood. And she's bougie as well. She's priced at $68. And then we have from the brand Wild Beautiful Free that you can actually find through Amazon is Lavender and Vanilla Organic Aromatherapy Candle. This is the best-selling Amazon candle, and it's made with organic coconut wax blended with 100% pure aromatherapy, grade essential oils, and an organic cotton wick. This one does not have a price point, but I'm assuming it's a little bit more on the budget-friendly side. And lastly, also from Amazon, you have from the brand Wax Oils, the aromatherapy scented candles. And these are priced at $26.95. And it's available in vanilla, peppermint, eucalyptus, and lavender. And this trio of candle is made with soy wax and cotton core wicks and housed in 100% recyclable tins. Again, amazing. We love when our products are sustainable, recyclable, compost, all of that good stuff. So I don't know if it's because these are natural, organic, clean, that these are a little bit pricier. I don't know. I'm used to shopping at Marshall's and buying them for like as cheap as $4. But again, those are probably the ones that are not the best for me to inhale. So there's also another issue with that. Now, switching gears again a little bit, we're going to be talking about how CBD skincare has a clean beauty problem, but Prima is changing that. As the first CBD brand to be EWG verified, Prima seeks to clear up the confusion. Search Google images for CBD skincare, and here's what you'll get. Green bottles, green backdrops, and so many slender and spiky cannabis sativa leaves, also green naturally. It's a fairly straightforward marketing tactic. All this viridescence and verdure meant to make you see cannabidiol as natural, pure, safe, and sustainable. Psychologically, green translates to clean, right? Like when we think of green, clean, like there's those terms go hand in hand. Pragmatically, however, it does not. So here's CBD's clean beauty problem. Though cannabidiol, also known as CBD, the buzziest cannabinoid in the beauty business, is derived from plants both leafy and green, that fact often has little bearing on the clean factor of a product's final formulation. Plenty of recent launches boast cannabis sativa on the front of their labels and questionable ingredients on the back. Mineral oils, PEGs, undisclosed fragrances, known skin sensitizers, and more. Because CBD has positioned almost as a hero ingredient, I do feel like there's a disconnect because it being one of many botanicals in a product versus it being the highlighted ingredient in a sea of potentially harmful industrial compounds. So that's what Jessica Asaf, the co-founder and chief education officer of CBD skincare brand Prima, tells Bazaar. Jessica Asaf is more intimately acquainted with said harmful industrial compounds than most. As a teenager, she co-founded the activist organization Teens for Safe Cosmetics and advocated for clean beauty before clean beauty was a $25 billion a year category. In 2008, Jessica Asaf participated in the Environmental Working Group's Teen Body Burden Study. My blood and urine were tested, and 13 of 30 industrial compounds were found in my body, she says, including those commonly found in cosmetics like phthalates and parabens. I finally had evidence to say that this matters, and we have control over some of these things in terms of the products we use. After the study was complete, the EWG remained instrumental in my early work of trying to compel companies to reformulate, she notes. We convinced OPI to remove formaldehyde-releasing preservatives from its nail polish. So you guys, we're going to come to a very brief break right now. And when we come back, more on Jessica Asaf and her work in changing clean beauty.
The GSMC Life and Happiness podcast takes you on a journey of exploration. We'll discuss tried and true methods alongside the latest trends of how to best live your life to its fullest and happiest. From psychology to meditation, science to self-help books, the GSMC Life and Happiness podcast will help you to discover what makes you happy and how you can live life being the best you possible. Download the GSMC Life and Happiness podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Google Play, or anywhere you find podcasts. Just type GSMC in the search bar.
What's up, you guys, and welcome back to GSMC Health and Wellness Podcast. So we're going to continue on with the conversation of Jessica Asaf and how she is part of the environmental group of changing and trying to compel these companies to reformulate, as she did with OPI, the nail polish company. More than a decade later, the teen activist turned clean beauty co-founder is once again partnering with the nonprofit, this time to announce Prima as the first hemp CBD brand to earn the rigorous EWG verification on its skincare products. To me, it's a safety stamp, says Jessica Asaf. A safety stamp that some say is much needed in an industry that operates on a post-market regulatory system and profits off manipulative marketing claims. There is nobody enforcing what it means to be clean, non-toxic, or safe, clarifies Laurel Angelica Myers, Prima's co-founder and COO. It's not something the Food and Drug Administration has defined, and brands can use those terms in their marketing in any which way they please. That's why it's really important for us to partner with independent, third-party, trusted advocacy groups and nonprofits to provide credibility for what we say that we're doing, says Laura Angelica Myers. So, what is the EWG? Clean beauty enthusiasts likely already know and trust the EWG, or the Environmental Working Group. It's the organization behind the Skin Deep Cosmetics Database, a running master list of cosmetic ingredients and corresponding safety studies that consumers can cross-check with their personal care products. The Skin Deep database was my own aha moment, Myers tells Bazaar. The EWG opened people's eyes to the fact that there are ingredients available on the market that pose human health and safety risk, and Skin Deep offers an easy way to understand and assess and make smarter choices. But where Skin Deep relies on generalized ingredient data, the EWG verified certification zeros in on specific products from specific brands, taking into account everything from where the exact materials are sourced, to how the ingredients are processed, to the concentrations in the finished formulas. Their team then has a team of toxicologists that goes through and assesses everything and identifies where these ingredients fall on the health and safety spectrum. the EWG looks to stricter international governing bodies like Japan's Ministry of Health and Health Canada for guidance. There's an additional documentation review where we provide concentrations of our ingredients, spec sheets, certificates of analysis, sometimes even process flow to look at potential contamination of ingredients, the Prima CEO shares. In order to meet EWG verified requirements, products must have a low risk score of 1 or 2 out of 10 in the Skin Deep database, and brands must disclose additional information not typically found on the product label in an effort to drive the market toward greater transparency, notes the brand. For example, the EWG requires that brands share their fragrance components, typically protected by FDA legislation around proprietary information, before they can be verified. So what does this mean for customers? Basically, that when you see the EWG verified mark on a product, you can rest assured that every single ingredient inside has been sufficiently vetted for safety, so you don't have to do it yourself. This is especially appealing in the very trendy, often confusing, still evolving category of CBD skincare. So how is Prima redefining clean CBD? Because Prima is the first CBD skincare brand to be EWG verified, the nonprofit was tasked with gathering and analyzing all the available research on the recently popularized ingredient. As with all new ingredients, EWG conducted a thorough review to determine if this ingredient has been flagged as being linked to adverse health or environmental impacts in the scientific literature or by any national and international authoritative bodies. Nika Liba, Vice President of Healthy Living Science at EWG, tells Bazaar. 2 main areas of concern were identified. Bioaccumulation in the hemp plants CBD is derived from and the presence of THC. Hemp is a bioaccumulator. It's known to soak up heavy metals from the soil. Christopher Gavigan, the co-founder and CEO of Prima and an environmental scientist by training, tells Bazaar. That's the big unknown in this category. To make sure its full spectrum hemp CBD is free from potentially toxic heavy metals, Prima sources its hemp from a multi-generation cohort of family farmers in the United States that farms organically, conducts microbiological testing for contaminants, and is certified by the Detox Project. Cannabidiol may contain elevated levels of THC, which has been flagged as concerning by the FDA, the European Union, and Canadian government. To account for this, EWG established a restriction on this ingredient for the verified program. Our current restriction on THC content is 10 ppm, which is based on the restrictions from Health Canada. Full spectrum hemp generally contains only trace amounts of THC anyway. The compound is more concentrated in marijuana, which Prima further removes. The brand hopes the EWG verified mark reassures cautious consumers and customers that its CBD is not only safe, but also worth slathering all over your face. Okay? So here's how CBD soothes the skin. The CBD in full spectrum hemp, including CBD, work with the body's endocannabinoid system, which is a system of receptors all throughout the body. It's activated on demand when we're hit with a stressor and our body needs to maintain homeostasis. It's the master regulatory system in that it promotes balance. The metaphor I like to use for the skin, which has its own endocannabinoid system, is that it's like a lock and key system. So the endocannabinoids that the body produces kind of perfectly connect to the phytocannabinoids found in the plant to promote balance. Early studies show that in terms of skincare, Balance might look like optimized oil production, fewer breakouts, and less redness and irritation. Although the research on topical CBD isn't as robust as the research on ingestibles, people are still trying to understand what it is and what it isn't. It's really been in a fear-based prohibition for almost 100 years, you guys. That's insane. So we're going to cut into a very brief break right now. And when we come back, we're going to discuss clean CBD and how it's a social justice issue. We'll be right back.
Are you tired of the same old news? Are you sick of the seemingly endless political spin and negativity? The GSMC America Still Beautiful podcast is a weekly news podcast covering all the top positive and uplifting news stories. We cover stories that will inspire, uplift, and remind you of the good in the world. Tune into the Golden State Media Concepts America Still Beautiful podcast to get all the great and positive news stories of today. Download the GSMC America Still Beautiful podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Google Play, or anywhere you find podcasts. Just type GSMC in the search bar.
What's up, you guys, and welcome back to GSMC Health and Wellness Podcast. So for this final segment, we're going to dive into how clean CBD is a social justice issue. Of course, that fear-based prohibition was largely the result of hemp's proximity to marijuana. Both plants belong to the cannabis family. And it's impossible to talk about CBD without acknowledging the racial injustice within the cannabis industry. We know in general that black and white people use cannabis in equal amounts, yet black people are incarcerated almost 4 times more than white people. That bears on our soul, and we will and absolutely must address that. One way that this amazing brand Prima is giving back to the black community is by donating 1% of its annual revenue to charitable causes, including the Children and Nature Network, in support of its Youth Outdoor Equity Leadership Fund. This fund will support young leaders from the BIPOC and other marginalized communities working to increase equitable access to the benefits of nature, environmental and climate justice, and community health and well-being. To Jessica Asaf, Prima's work with the EWG is the work of social justice. The EWG is trying to protect the most vulnerable consumers. She muses, and within the beauty industry specifically, the most vulnerable consumers are consumers of color. A study from the EWG found that 1 in 12 beauty products marketed to black women contain toxic substances, some associated with reproductive damage, with less than 25% of products in the space considered low hazard. A 2019 study showed that hair dyes and chemical straighteners are associated with a 60% increase in breast cancer risk for black women compared to an 8% increase for white women. We all have our own individual tipping point. So for someone out there, the EWG may be that safety net and protection. Consumers need guardians and protectors and peace of mind and champions of their health. They aren't weekend toxicologists. They shouldn't be required to look up ingredients. It's our job to be that guardian, to be that wellness supporter and champion. Ahead, shop the first clean CBD skincare products to be EWG verified, no green bottles or slender, spiky cannabis leaves and sites. Okay? So we have the Enlightenment Serum, 100 milligrams of CBD concentrated boost from Prima, priced at $42, and you can find it at Sephora.com. You have the Night Magic 300 milligram CBD intensive face oil from Prima, priced at $88, also found at Sephora.com. Then you have the Afterglow 500 milligram CBD Deeply Restorative Moisturizer from Prima, priced at $96. Also can be found at Sephora.com. Then you have the Rejuvenating Firming Brightening Moisturizer from Bare Necessities Company, and you can find it at their website, barenecessitiescompany.com, priced at $60. Next, a little bit cheaper, actually a lot cheaper. What am I talking about? We have the CBD Honey Mama Manuka Mask from Dose Beauty. You can find it at souladdict.co, priced at $16, so a lot more budget friendly. And lastly, you have the Vital Nutrient Complex BLNCD from blncdnaturals.com, priced at $75. So you guys, that's going to wrap up today's episode here at the GSMC Health and Wellness Podcast. I really hope you guys enjoyed this part 2 Clean Beauty Continued episode. I hope you guys learned a thing or two. I know I for sure did while I was researching. If you guys enjoyed today's episode, please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment, and I'll catch you guys here for the next one.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Health and Wellness Podcast, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network, from movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.